Hello there, Kenya and the world at large. Good morning. Welcome to the program. My name is Victor Olo, and the show on air right now is Good Morning Kenya. How are you doing? I hope you had a great night. Now we are on, and we have got so much lined up for you today, being the third day of the vetting exercise taking place at the county hall. What is happening there today? I'll give you the rundown on the nominees who will be facing the panelists today. But yesterday, 5 people, 3 gentlemen and 4 gentlemen rather, and a lady took their seat there. We had Professor Njuguna Ndungu, Aisha Jumwa, we had Kithure Kindiki, Davis Chirchir, and we had as well as Moses Kuria, who faced the panelists yesterday. And today we are also going for the third day. Who are the names? I'll give you the names shortly. Being the 19th day of October, we have got so much lined up for you. Welcome to the program. My name is Victor Lo. Mariambo, good morning.
Good morning, Victor, and good morning to our viewers here in Nairobi and across the country. Today, as Victor said, the vetting of the cabinet nominees will continue, so we'll be bringing you updates of that story. And also, President William Ruto calls for the prudent use of land so that we can encourage food production and home ownership. All that coming up in just a short while. Good morning once again. It's the 19th of October 2022, and we are ready to update you with the news of the day. Now, President William Ruto is calling for land consolidation for sustainable food production and home ownership. Speaking when he handed over to keys to 734 homeowners in Ongata Rongai, Kajiado County, President William Ruto said increasing land segmentation is threatening the country's food security. Karen Jenga begins our bulletin this morning.
President William Ruto has committed to construct 200,000 houses every year, earmarked for low-income earners. President Ruto says his housing agenda will be centered on construction of houses under the Affordable Housing Plan, social housing program for low-income earners, and a rent-to-own category.
Waseremala, wale mafundi ya kule kijijini, watu ya bodaboda na hata ule anauza mboga atapata nafasi ya kununua nyumba.
While handing over the keys to owners of 734 housing units in Ongata Rongai, Kajiado County, the president called for land consolidation to ensure every Kenyan owns a home without using land meant for food production for human settlement.
Tuanze ile program ya land consolidation. Watu tuweze kupata nafasi ya kilimo, ili tusitumie sehemu zetu za kilimo na kuzalisha chakula kama sehemu ya makao.
In an effort to bring down the cost of housing, the head of state said 69 products used in construction of the houses will be standardized, in addition to the government providing land and infrastructure to pave way for construction of the houses by private developers.
To standardize milango, to standardize madirisha, to standardize all the other products.
He has pledged to work with legislators, county governments, and developers to come up with a mortgage pricing formula friendly to the common mwananchi.
Nataka private sector developers wajue ya kwamba we are now developing the program in full steam. We are arranging the finances for purposes of mortgage. I have had meetings with our pension institutions.
I commit that my government will cooperate where we have open spaces to provide the land. Where we are required to do our bit, we will do our bit.
I know you are very passionate about the pricing of mortgages, because there's no point of doing 720 units here if the people who won't need those houses can't afford them.
The jubilant beneficiaries hailed the government for the housing project.
I want to encourage all Kenyans with aspirations of owning homes. It is possible. it is doable through these affordable housing projects.
Challenged by this developer at the beginning of my work here to own a house. I did not believe it could come true, but years down the line, today, I'm a proud owner of 2-bedroom house.
Public Service, Gender and Affirmative Action Cabinet nominee Aisha Jumwa has defended herself from the corruption, murder, land and academic qualification cases leveled against her, saying they were politically instigated. Aisha, who was the third nominee to appear before the appointment committee on day 2 of the vetting exercise, said the DPP has already dropped one of the cases and she will soon be vindicated of any wrongdoing.
Former Malindi MP Aisha Jumwa was taken to task to explain her suitability to lead the Public Service Ministry, with the vetting committee raising concerns about her integrity.
A case to do with murder that occurred in a home of an opponent where she stormed together with her team. A case of misappropriation of NGCDF funds. A civil case by a Mr. Devshi Naran Kambi for fraudulent acquisition of his land. Numerous verbal altercations, Mr. Speaker, that we have seen.
Do you own a gun? And have you ever handled one?
I don't own a gun. I'm not a gun holder. And I don't know even the names of the guns in this country. They were politically instigated. And I'm happy because this country is a country of laws. The DPP dropped the case that is touching on the misappropriation of funds.
An emotional Jumwa narrated her treacherous climb to the top, accusing her political detractors of attempting to derail her success.
So, Mr. Chairman, I was at home. There were absolutely no prospects to expand my horizons. So, Mr. Chairman, I got married off.
Jumwa defended her academic qualifications, saying her achievements should be an inspiration to many.
I just want you clarify how you are able to get the Executive Master in Business Administration, EMBA, from JKUAT in 2015 before attaining your bachelor's degree.
These actually are not academic certificates. These are sort of honorary to businessmen, to leaders, to people like this.
You know, and I'm asking myself, if you are in Pokot, for example, can you really get a D- and get a degree? What is the road of getting that degree?
We were not that detailed and we were not asking other nominees exactly the grade, what they got, so why should we harass the nominee?
From where he comes from, Mr. Chairman, there are challenges, and those girls there, they are looking at him like if you get a D-, you have no hope in life. That is end of view. I want to encourage those girls from West Pokot that they can get somewhere. Let them be encouraged and see Mheshimiwa Posing as an enemy of progress.
Energy and Petroleum CS nominee Davis Chirchir also appeared before the Moses Wetangula-led committee, where the ghost of the chicken gate scandal reawakened.
Would you be privy to the outcome of those investigations? What became of those investigations now that you are not reappointed to cabinet in 2017?
You've indicated that you stepped aside, or you are forced to step aside. Because I was in the House then, 2015, when the President came to Parliament and read the names of those who had fallen short of the requirements of Chapter 6 of the Constitution.
The investigations were completed, and I did manage to get documentation to prove that those who were found culpable were charged, and I was not one of them, Mr. Chairman. I think the only challenge is really, yes, it was in the public domain. I do also expect that my members of parliament to defend me to some very good extent, so that I should not have been out for several years on an allegation and a file that had been closed.
Chirchir, who said his net worth was 482 million Kenya shillings, said there is need to relook the distribution of power to lower costs. CS Interior nominee Professor Kithure Kindiki said quelling banditry and taming organized crime will be top of his agenda in efforts to sustain peace in conflict-prone areas.
That I will make whatever sacrifices that are required to be made I'll stay focused until this problem is over. Even if it means Honorable Naisula coming to live in the North Rift. Not for a week, not for a month.
The only time as a country we behave shocked or surprised is when we lose our security personnel. And only when we lose more than 2 or 3 lives. When will one life be too many to lose in the northern parts of this country?
Professor Kindiki told Parliamentary Committee on Appointments that rampant banditry and cattle rustling are slowing the socio-economic growth of many parts of the country. For Magatundu South MP Moses Kuria defended himself against accusations that he has repeatedly violated Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Kuria said he is fit to hold public office.
Thank you, Kamche Menza, for that report. Now to matters money, where Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says the National Treasury will disburse county budgetary allocations in time to enable the devolved units fulfill their development agenda. Uninterrupted. The DP, however, said counties must ensure the effective absorption of the funds.
The national and county governments have agreed to strengthen their union by ensuring predictability in the disbursement and absorption of the shareable revenue.
We have appealed to the county governments to consider our concern about the low absorption rate. We have noted today, even as the county governments complain about delayed disbursements, they continue to hold over 30 billion shillings in their accounts.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says Treasury will move to ensure that the intermittence in the release of county funds becomes a thing of the past.
Those counties that absorb quickly will get the first priority in disbursement. And therefore we want to urge counties to put measures into place for quick absorption, which has got a positive effect on the economy.
Governors have over the years accused the national government of starving counties of funds, disrupting operations in the devolved units.
We have given ourselves a target, a deadline of 6 months within which all functions should be transferred, and shortly we'll be convening a meeting of all the relevant ministries to agree on the roadmap towards the final transfer of all devolved functions to the county governments.
On the implementation of the Equalization Fund, the Deputy President disclosed that a committee has been formed to effect the same without delay.
Chief Justice Martha Koome will today preside over the swearing-in ceremony of Mohammed Amin Ibrahim as the new director of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the DCI. Ibrahim, who was appointed by President William Ruto to take over from George Kinoti, will be sworn in at the Supreme Court building at 8 a.m.
A week after President William Ruto appointed Mohammed Amin Ibrahim, the judiciary says all is set for the swearing-in of the new Director of Criminal Investigations. The ceremony will be presided over by Chief Justice Martha Koome at the Supreme Court building on Wednesday at 8 a.m. Until his appointment, Mohammed Amin Ibrahim has been serving as the head of Internal Affairs Unit. 58-year-old Amin, who has been in the police service since 1989, has served in various capacities, including heading the then CID Investigations Bureau and the Banking Fraud Investigations Unit, among other senior management positions. He holds a master's degree in Criminology and Security Management from Egerton University, a degree in Criminology and Security Studies from Egerton University, and a diploma in International Studies from University of Nairobi.
And still on that note, Haki Africa, in collaboration with families of victims of extrajudicial killings, have lauded the government for disbanding the Special Service Unit of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. The group now wants an independent commission of inquiry formed to investigate the actions of the disbanded unit, to be set up to ensure officers found culpable of unlawful killings are charged in court.
Scars of families of extrajudicial killing victims are yet to heal, with the majority pleading for justice year in, year out. With the cases of mysterious disappearance and killings continuing to rise, according to statistics by Haki Africa, families of victims now want relevant authorities to establish an independent commission of inquiry to investigate the actions by individual officers and, if found culpable, be charged in court.
So mimi ningeomba serikali at least hata mtu akishiko, even arrested person akona rights zake. Constitution ya Kenya nasema akishiko article 53 apeleko kotini afunguliwe mashtaka, lakini si kuuliwa. Naomba tu wanatekeleza katiba venye nasema. Si ati katiba na kwa kutetea wale wako juu pekee, pia sisi tuko madhara, tuko na right ya kufuata katiba venye nasema.
Hata nikilipwa si ati kuna kitu itanisaidia. Mimi nataka this perpetrator juu ni kitu amezoea, hizi a serial killer cop, ashikwe ekwe ndani. Juu angefuata the due process of the law, bwanangu apelekwe ndani, sasa angekuwa ametoka. Juu yeye maybe aliogopa ndamshika ndampeleka na nini.
Addressing the press at the Mathare Social Justice Center, families of the victims stress on the need of disbanding any special unit in police stations, alleging that the units are dens of extortion and killings.
Disbandment is okay, but disbandment is not okay in totality if these police officers are not brought to justice. We want them to be brought to justice so that ikuwe funzo kama polisi wengine, so that the public can also gain credibility with the forces, tuweza kwa trust. Ndo hata kesho tuweza peleka information kwa polisi that this is the strategy that we use. We want to cooperate with the police in fighting these other crimes and everything.
Pande ingine, pande ya mapolisi hawatumii haki. Unapata pia wameshika kijana bure bila uhalifu na wanafanya nini? Wanaenda wanaua. Ndio tunasema wafuatilie haki.
The group further urged the government to initiate national dialogue to address the social impacts of the killings.
We believe that is an indication that there is political will to end extrajudicial killings in this country. That's why we want to build on this momentum and ensure that action is taken.
This comes a few days after the government disbanded the Special Service Unit of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations.
Now to the corridors of justice, where Kenya Revenue Authority is considering settling the tax evasion matter facing businesswoman Mary Wambui Mungai, her daughter Purity Njoki, and their company Puma Holdings out of court. Considering the matter was under review by the Director of Public Prosecutions, the court has allowed the engagement, scheduling a mention date for the 5th of December to ascertain the decision reached.
Is the 5th of December.
There appears to be a twist in the over 2 billion tax evasion case facing businesswoman Mary Wambui Mungai, her daughter Purity Njoki, and their company Puma Holdings that was under review by the ODPP. The Kenya Revenue Authority has told the court that it is considering settling the matter out of court. The two Puma Holding directors had been charged with 8 counts of tax evasion from 2014 to 2016 and had been released on a Kenya shillings 50 million bond and a surety of 25 million Kenya shillings after denying the charges. Magistrate Felix Kombo allowed the application between parties, scheduling the 5th of December for a mention to determine the decision reached ordering the release of their passports temporarily. Meanwhile, the court has ordered business mogul Jimna to undergo a paternity test following a petition filed in regard to the alleged abdication of his parental role to a 4-year-old child. The ruling by Magistrate Jackie Kibosia comes after the mother of the 4-year-old said that Jimna Mbaru allegedly refused to have his name put on the birth certificate of the child, and the putative father, who was expected to be paying Kenya shillings 50,000 monthly, has not been doing so as agreed. The mother now seeks 600,000 yearly for the child's school fees and 320,000 monthly for upkeep, and the father be compelled to take care of the child as his biological father.
Now a look at matters business. We're streamlining the country's fiscal space and restructuring Kenya's debts profile is on top of the agenda for National Treasury Cabinet Secretary nominee, that is Professor Njuguna Ndung'u. Ndung'u has told the Parliamentary Committee on Appointments that he will roll out various incentives to encourage tax compliance and streamline the operations of the Kenya Revenue Authority. Backside has the details of that story.
And tell this committee the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
The former Central Bank of Kenya governor faced the appointment committee at a time when the country is facing serious fiscal headwinds, worsened by the ongoing drought that has devastated agriculture.
Into the ministry, which very many people in this country blame it for the kind of economic mess that we are in. What is your vision for treasury and economic planning? How are you going to solve the problems that are now here? The problems of skyrocketing prices, the problems of the fuel, the subsidy issue.
Professor Ndung'u told the committee that the Treasury will seek to restructure the country's debt position by scraping expensive concessional loans and empowering the debt office at the National Treasury to clean Kenya's debt register.
The way the situation is, given the multiple shocks and even the surprise side shocks that are quite prevalent, the best would be to look for concessional financing that would retire most of the debt, especially the domestic debt, which is very, very expensive. It's taking quite a large proportion of recurrent expenditure.
On taxation matters, Professor Ndung'u said he will work with the Kenya Revenue Authority to streamline tax collection and administration with the introduction of an incentive framework to boost tax compliance.
But those taxes should not distort the market. They should not distort the allocation of resources. They should not create incentives to run away from taxes. And those are the principles that we would want to promote. And once we promote that, I'm sure the tax system is going to work very well.
In addition, he says, his ministry would create strong buffers for supply-side shocks and the CBK foreign exchange reserves.
But essentially what you do is actually to push the economy into a temporary recession, hoping that once the supply shocks are resolved, we do not have that plateau of high prices. We will destroy that.
Thank you, Professor. I want us to close here.
The fate of the CS designate now awaits the recommendation of the appointment committee later this month.
This is very important that we get it right from the word go. This is one docket that we can't gamble for as a country. We cannot.
Kenya plans to recruit and deploy 15,000 jobs in the global maritime industry in the next 3 years. The recruits will work in cruise ships, container ships, oil tankers, loose cargoes and fishing vessels. Shipping and Maritime Principal Secretary, that is Nancy Karigithu, has said that the government has entered into an agreement with the various shipping lines to recruit and train thousands of Kenyan youth in the maritime industry.
In 2020, the government signed an agreement with the Mediterranean Shipping Company and Royal Caribbean Cruises to recruit and train thousands of Kenyan youths to work in the maritime industry. However, the plan has faced serious hurdles due to the high cost involved in the recruitment and processing of qualified job applicants. In July, the Royal Caribbean Cruise was in the Kenyan market to recruit 2,000 Kenyans to work in various shipping departments like housekeeping and security, among others. However, the exercise managed to recruit less than 500 people, since most of the recruits failed to raise insurance, medical and other costs needed to travel for the training.
We have to assist them because coming from unemployment, it means that they may not be able to meet the costs of embarkation.
Eliminate that barrier of embarkation by helping them meet that cost. They pay their money and the money is pumped back to the other beneficiaries. And through this sustainable process, then we'll have those Kenyans who have qualified to work on board the vessels will not have this kind of a challenge in future.
To deal with this, the government has entered into an agreement with the Kenya Commercial Bank to provide unsecured loans to job seekers to cover embarkation costs and travel logistics.
Tumekubaliana na Kenya Maritime kwamba tutakaa chini tuangalie ni sehemu gani ambazo zinawafanya watu wetu hapa wanakuwa na udhaifu katika kupata kazi hizi.
Jambo la maana sana ni kuwezesha our youth kuwa na skills and competence ili waweze kuajiriwa. Hence, we are tackling the problem of youth unemployment.
Shipping and Maritime Principal Secretary Nancy Karigithu has said there is need for private-public partnerships to enable youth take advantage of available maritime opportunities. The KCB partnership with Kenya Maritime Authority is valued at 155 million shillings and seeks to train 600 youth over a 3-year period beginning next year.
And to matters sports now, where Kenyan athletes Ibrahim Mukunga Wachira and Kenneth Kiprop Renju have been handed provisional suspensions by the Athletics Integrity Unit after their samples returned positive tests for banned substances. Meanwhile, over 10,000 participants are expected to take part in the second edition of the Magnolia Girls run slated for the 27th of next month in Nairobi.
Mukunga has been suspended for the use of prohibited noradrenaline, while national 10,000 meter champion Renju got nabbed for the use of the methasterone. Renju is the most successful of the duo besides winning the national title on April 27 this year. He also won a Lille 10-kilometer race on March 27th in France, Prague half marathon on April 12th and Czech Republic and Lisbon half marathon on May 22nd in Portugal. Mukunga and Renju's ban come only 4 days after 2021 Boston Marathon champion Diana Kipchoge and her compatriot Betty Wilson-Lempaso are disposed for using banned substances. Meanwhile, the race organized by Rainbow of Magnolia Fountains of Life organization is targeting to raise 10 million shillings, which will be channeled towards providing education to rescued girls and construction of a dormitory. The race will feature 10 kilometers and 5 kilometers and will be held along Langata Road annually, with the registration set to kick off next week. The race is sanctioned by Athletics Kenya and will be held in Nairobi for the first time after last year's edition that was held in Kajiado County.
Natarajia kwamba watu ambao watakuja kurana hii run ni corporate people, all people actually. We are inviting all people, and also we will be having school children who will be participating in the run.
Now, ticket sales for the FIFA World Cup have approaching 3 million as the countdown continues. The first edition of the tournament in the Middle East and Arab world, which will get underway at Al Bayt Stadium on the 20th of November. Speaking during a press conference in Doha, the CEO of FIFA World Cup Qatar, that is Nasser Al Khater, said Qatar is ready to host a global celebration of the beautiful game. Other organizers announced for the 30,000 rooms had been made available to the World Cup visitors as Qatar prepares to stage this 64 matches at 8 state-of-the-art stadiums. Demand has been highest among fans based in Qatar, the United States, Saudi Arabia, England, Mexico, the United Arab Emirates, Argentina, France, and Brazil, including Germany.
That Qatar will deliver the best ever edition of the FIFA World Cup. And as you look around the country today, at the state-of-the-art stadiums, the training pitches, the metro, the wider infrastructure, everything is ready. The most successful hospitality program ever, with 240,000 packages sold, as well as an extensive accreditation process that will deliver almost 190,000 devices. This FIFA World Cup, a tournament of peace and unity, will be the one that brings the world together after some difficult times.
More than 1 million fans from around the globe. Andy Richardson, Al Jazeera, at Lusail.
Well, that story brings us to the end of the bulletin this morning. Thank you so very much for your company. Don't go away, because Good Morning Kenya still continues.
taken by Sipaway Shabalala. Noise and the header's in! South Africa lead! Bongani Kumalo, the big central defender. Lift off for Bafana in Bloemfontein. Good crossing position. All he delivered, not away conclusively though, and Mpela! 2-0 for South Africa. Clichy outfoxed by Mpela. South Africa, 37 first half minutes gone, lead by 2-0.
Listen to me. Somebody wants to kill Gonzalo.
Take care, Gonzalo. Your life's in danger. And just like Osvaldo, I believe that someone wants you dead. And unfortunately, that someone is so close to you that he knows your each and every move.
But the problem is that all my jewelry has disappeared.
So you're accusing me of stealing your jewelry, right?
This stone is from your ring and it was found right here. On the day your godfather died.
Me? Oh no. Come back here. Live in Mexico again. No. The stone is there because she wanted to make sure my husband was dead.
On Wednesday, 19th October 2022, Bayern Munich travel to Augsburg for their duel at 9:45 p.m. live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1.
It's Augsburg winners in the end. Bayern go on, hungry no doubt.
KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. Now let's take another direction and have a discussion. Tomorrow being a Mashujaa Day and Kenyans are waiting. Perhaps some people might have even lost count of the dates of these celebrations. But nonetheless, we are here to inform you on what you should expect tomorrow at the Uhuru Gardens. And with me in studio, I have got William Kang'ethe Thuku, who is the Regional Commissioner of Nairobi Region. Karibu sana, Bwana Commissioner.
Thank you very much.
The last time we were here was last year. How time flies.
It does. It does.
It does.
People, I think, are very busy, and by the time you realize,
yes,
the time has gone.
And here we are celebrating another Mashujaa Day.
Yes.
How have you been?
I've been well. Still working for the public, providing services to the members of public.
Yes.
Who are our employers, actually.
Are we ready for tomorrow?
Yes, we are. The National Celebration Committee has, which of course I sit in that committee, has finalized all the arrangements, and we are ready. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to greet Nairobians. Good morning, Nairobi, and to inform you that we are ready. We have made all the arrangements. We have taken care of everything. There will be a lot of entertainment. There will be a lot of speeches. We are inviting the Nairobians to come and be part of the celebration. So we are ready.
Yes.
We have put in place every conceivable arrangement that should be there. Yes.
How different is it going to be? Because we are doing the 58th Mashujaa Day celebration. What does it really mean to you as an individual, as a patriot, and to Kenyans in general?
First of all, we want to say that we want to thank God for having even reached us here. It's been a long time. 58 years is a long time. To say that this year's celebration is different because we have a new government. President William Samoei Ruto.
Yes.
And this will be his first celebration of Mashujaa Day. So again, there is a lot of enthusiasm in terms that comes with every new government.
Yeah.
I know wananchi, because of the issues that have been going on, there is severe drought going on. The prices of food commodities has gone up. Sometimes because of not reasons of our own, and because of the global environment. You're aware about the COVID-19, which you are coming from. You're aware about the Ukraine war, and many other things have shot up. And because of that, combined with the drought, so Kenyans are very enthusiastic of the new government, and we are doing the first celebration of this new government.
And I'm so sure you're also enthusiastic about it.
Yes, we are, very much. We look forward to probably new ways of doing things. Every government come with their ideas, and we will be there to support the government in all ways. And we want to call upon wananchi also in their enthusiasm to be part of that. To be able to play their part in all aspects of the social life. Yes.
Why Uhuru Gardens?
Now, Uhuru Garden is very historic. You remember during the fight for independence, about 10,000 Kenyans, freedom fighters, were massacred in Langata camp.
Yes.
Camp.
Actually, it was a detention camp.
It was a detention camp. And therefore, Uhuru Gardens is a reminder and a commemoration of that these are the people who fought for independence.
Yes.
We have a very good museum there. Apart from the stadium, we have a museum showing all these freedom fighters, our history, where we've come from, and all that. So it is very, very, specific and good that we are actually holding Mashujaa Day there. It will be the first Mashujaa Day, I think, in that particular gardens.
And you've mentioned something quite interesting, because it's been constructed under the last regime, and now we have got a museum which is quite beautiful. I'll visit that place.
Yes.
I would imagine Kenyans going to celebrate Mashujaa Day, and they have direct entry into the museum to reflect on where we've come from as Kenyans. Perhaps it signals a brighter way of just putting our history as at a one-stop shop for Kenyans to preserve it.
Yeah, and that is unique because everything that you would want to learn about this country will be housed there. I think this museum will even become a research area where even scholars, even our young people will be able to go there and learn about the history, or that very deep history about how we fought gallantly for independence. So again, and I'm sure the government will make the necessary arrangements so that Kenyans can be able to walk there and they learn about, so that apart from being taught, they can also be able to see. They can be able to see. They can be able to see how villages were being burned down. They can be able to be told the number of detention camps which were there. My own father was detained in what we call Manyani, and later Makinon Lodge. My mother was also a freedom fighter. She used to carry bullets for freedom fighters. So again, it's a very good history, and we will be proud, about it very much.
So much. You have a direct touch with the history.
Absolutely.
You have a direct touch with the history.
Yes.
I'm quite interested to understand how this situation is going to be. Quite different in terms of the celebrations. We have, of course, the military display. Last time the president was there, we saw Kenyans saw something they've never seen. An entire display of the Kenyan military. And that is the point that Kenyans really appreciated what we have as a nation. Are we likely to see something like that tomorrow?
We might not, display the military wear and all that. Usually it comes towards the end of the year, Jamhuri, usually, and all that. I think Jamhuri is usually kind of dedicated to the military.
Right.
But this time we want to celebrate Mashujaa. I mean the Kenyan freedom fighters. And Mashujaa we have even modern day Mashujaa.
Yes.
People who have done a lot in community, development. People in their own way, in their areas that they work in, have contributed very much. Even you, by being here, you also Mashujaa in a way.
Oh, thank you.
So we'll be able to display. Some of these people will be able to will be invited. Of course, the songs will be songs to do with the patriotism and freedom fighting and all that. So basically, it's meant for those people who fought for us, those who fought in the bushes, those who fought in land, in offices and in conventions and all that. So it's different.
We have, quote unquote, the 21st century human being and core Kenyans, and they would say that's such. But is it so? No,
okay. The old people, our forefathers, of course, they're the ones who set the pace and agenda for us. They're the ones who have made us to be what we are, because they are the ones who bravely fought the colonizers who are suppressing the Kenyans. And then, of course, the country has opened up to modern days way of doing it. And I believe every Kenyan now should be able to come and to attend this day, because we say that everybody is a Mashujaa in his own way. Even the young people who are doing a lot of things, the one who are innovating for this country. M-Pesa was an innovation from this country, and many other things. So again, we shouldn't look at it like it was for ancient people, our forefathers.
Yes.
But even modern day.
And what does it really mean to us as Kenyans, right?
And what it means to us in a very general way.
But why do we keep on celebrating it?
It is a reminder that we should never forget
where we came from.
Where we came from, who fought for us, and we need to hold them in very high esteem. So it's a reminder, and this reminder is memorial, and it has to keep on coming up every year. Yes.
Bwana Commissioner, we're celebrating Mashujaa Day, the first one after the general election, and we can really attribute this to the peaceful election that we had, and of course you and your colleagues and the security team across the country were boots down, quite literally, for a peaceful transition. Can I say that you are all Mashujaas?
Yes, and I want to really, first of all, to take this opportunity to thank Kenyans, wherever they are, and particularly even Nairobians here, because of the way we conducted ourselves during the transition.
And remember, Nairobi was also mentioned as a hotspot.
As a hotspot, it was there.
Yes.
And particularly Nairobians, because we took it very well. There was not a single crashes, and we prepared well before, during, and after the transition. And I think Heko goes to Nairobians. I think we have become of age. That it really doesn't matter who become a president. It's a question of the issue-based kind of leadership and all that. And therefore, we are also just because of holding a very peaceful transition. And I want to say that that is one of the biggest legacy that we are seeing. And it's happening for the first time that you can be able to transit to another leadership, entirely total leadership.
Exactly. It's just issue-based, and you conduct your business, and that should be it.
Again, of course, I think, and I think that's Heko go to Kenya. Even as we celebrate this Mashujaa, that is a reminder that we have come of age. We will never again agree to fight because of leadership, and you have lost, have won, and all that. Really, I want to thank Nairobians for that.
Absolutely.
And you see, the 60% of the GDP is Nairobi.
Yes.
So again, if anything can go wrong in this country, it will start going wrong in the city.
That triple effect. But let's talk about tomorrow. Your office must be busy right now. Final touches for the big day, and you are directly in control of this situation because it falls under your jurisdiction.
Absolutely.
What should you expect?
We are expecting, first of all, because of this eagerness about new government, people to come in large numbers. Uhuru Gardens is slightly smaller field of about between 25 and 30,000 people.
Yeah.
We are inviting people to come in big numbers. There will be celebration of Galole where people will be entertained by speeches, freedom, fighters' speeches, a lot of dances and songs, and all that. We have made the proper arrangement, the sitting arrangement. It's free to enter.
Yeah.
So we are appealing to Nairobians to actually wake up, walk to Uhuru Garden, it's your garden, and get seated as early as even 8 a.m. We will also have, we've made proper arrangement in terms of security, of course, as
which
always.
Is quite very important.
Which is very important.
Yeah.
Our country is always at risk of being hit by what we call the bad boys.
Yeah.
And therefore, we have made a proper arrangement for security of the people who've been attendants. We have identified several parkings. Of course, Uhuru Garden, they are parking for VIPs.
Yeah.
Then we have also identified the Uchumi supermarket parking, then Carnival Ground, and even Ulinzi complex. The Rangata Barracks. So again, and we have issued cards for those who are going to be in VIP sitting arrangement, where they are going to park their vehicles. It will be secure.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've talked about matter security. What should I have at Uhuru Gardens and what should I not have while going to Uhuru Gardens as an individual?
Of course, we need to, there are things we call standard operating procedures, where, of course, when you're going into such a stadium, we don't expect you to carry water.
Right.
Because we don't know what type of water you are carrying. we don't expect you also to carry, this is a national day.
Yes.
We don't also expect you to carry, any type of uniform identifying with any political party, for example.
Exactly.
We don't expect you to carry anything which would seem like silaha. So we want people to just walk there without anything. We will provide enough water for drinking water within the stadium. We have set up several points of drinking within the stadium. There will be enough, for example, abolition arrangement, so that people don't even have to walk out during when the speeches have been given. So again, we expect people to just wake up in the morning. Those who are near, like Kibra and Langata, just walk. Others will come from every corner of this town.
Yes.
Yes.
You are in that organizing committee.
Yes.
Just a bit of hint. What's that something special that we should expect? Because personally, I will be there. So what should I carry home tomorrow? Just a hint.
Well, of course, people want to hear. Let me talk about the National Celebration Committee. Is a committee of what we call, these days we have this approach called whole government approach.
Yes.
So the Celebration Committee is an example of a whole government approaching an issue that requires every other department. We have ICT people, of course, KBC, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, they are also representing there.
Yes,
and all
we
that.
will be there. We will be there.
So you are all invited.
Exactly.
And we have, yes, of course, we expect people want to hear. Moving forward, and this promise, this will be given. Kenyans are very hopeful, They expect with this new government that we will, there are very good things coming. We've seen the manifesto of the current government, and people want to hear many good things. Some of them have been, set out and all that. And also that, hope, leadership, hope, even from our leaders, that this country is going to be well. Employment will be created, and the issues to do with affordable housing, of course, issues to do with security, because security and environment is very important, even as people go about their businesses. And Kenyans are very resilient people, because all they want is an environment to be able to do their thing. And then they start doing their thing, and they start earning daily bread. So there are that hope, and the government is well set out on what they want for this country moving forward. Yes.
What time are we starting the event?
The event will start at 10, but we want to ask wananchi to be there very early, from as early as even 5, 6,
yeah, because
7.
of the protocol,
protocols.
Security checks.
There have been a lot of checking.
Yeah.
People will have to be frisked, and they have to be, because we have to. Is a standard operating procedure where you have to check people. We will have so many machines, both for baggage, checking the baggage, and also, of course, the metal detectors and all that. And because of that, we want people to come early, so that the security agencies can have an opportunity to check them and all that.
All right.
Yes.
There is this aspect of security, traffic update.
Yes.
What are some of the roads that will be affected? We have got Mbagathi, Langata Road, Magadi, the Eastern Bypass. Perhaps just an overview? I know traffic has always been an issue, but we are saying, fortunately, Uhuru Gardens is well served by a lot of roads. We are promising Nairobians that no single road will be crossed. But what we'll have is that once people who are coming from town, they are going to use Langata Road, then join the link road which goes to Carnival, and then they'll be able to, those ones who will be carrying visitors and guests, they'll be able to drop the visitors and go and park at Uchumi, at Carnival, at Uchumi, at Ulinzi grounds and all that. So again, no road to be crossed. Traffic plan has been put in place. There will be enough traffic officers, police officers, to direct people where to go, and even to check the cards, or those who are using the cards, and all that. And therefore, traffic plan has been well set out. Well set up.
Yeah.
But I see this is not the first time you are conducting this. It's falling under, let me call it, under your compound, and you're the host. How important is it for you as an individual?
First of all, as always, when you're hosting an event of this magnitude, there's always that little anxiety, a little adrenaline, so that
because you don't know what's going to be
what's going to happen. But when you prepare well, like we have done, I chair the Regional Security Committee, and we have ensured that all arrangements in terms of traffic flow, in terms of security checks and all that, even in terms of crowd control, we have put in place all those plans and arrangements. Of course, some of it has been ongoing. It's not a one-day thing. Those arrangements, we are going to bring a lot of, we'll be using about even 4,000 police officers to be able to do that manning. Every single area within the stadium, around the stadium, along the route will be manned by police officers. So I'm hoping that because we have done good plans and arrangement, everything will go on well. Good plan, but if you plan well, the result will be good.
Exactly. Apart from Mashujaa Day, which is going to be celebrated tomorrow in Nairobi, we've had different celebrations going across the country, different regions. Mombasa has hosted, Kisumu, Central. How important is this in line with the new dispensation of the Constitution?
Of course, we have said this country, since 2010, we went devolution in terms of even development. And the reason why we were also taking this celebration to other counties was to give those counties opportunity also to, because there's a lot of things that comes with the host in the Mashujaa. For example, the refurbishing of stadiums. And we did that in previous government. We've been to Kisii, we've been to Narok, Machakos, and those stadiums were well refurbished. Even in terms also with a lot of economic activities. Probably the hotels there are, they do a good business. Those who are suppliers and all that. I don't know about the current government, and probably they might want to continue with that. Probably they might not want to continue with that. We'll be guided. We'll be guided. But it was good for the economies of those counties, and some of them actually have better hotels. Some of them have even better roads, even within the cities and the towns in those particular counties.
All right. Okay. So as we come to a close, let me ask you this question of noise pollution in the city. In the past week or two, we've seen security agencies moving swiftly to avert such kind of cases where we have got clubs, we have got resorts, we have got joints in residential areas. This squarely falls under your jurisdiction. How do you receive this?
Now, let me say that probably what you mean is that most of this noise comes from bars.
Yes.
And even, joints like a restaurant and other disco areas. But let me say that the 2010 Constitution actually devolved what we call the licensing of clubs. Initially, the national government used to be in charge of that. I remember the DCs were chairing committees. They were called the Alcoholic Drink Regulation Committees, which committees were licensing where to locate a bar, or even and the clubs and all that. Of course, as guided then by what they used to call Mashujaa law.
Yes.
Now, Mashujaa law is still the national law. And when counties came into being, what they did is that they customized the Nakanda law and created their own alcoholic drink laws. But in terms of principles, the various county laws to regulate, licensing of bars and discos were supposed to follow some of the principles of the Nakanda law. For example, the distance between, like you should not locate a bar in a residential area. The bar should be 300 meters from a school and all that.
Yes.
And therefore, those counties which actually followed those national laws have succeeded. But again, what we are having is that we are having, and counties have come up with structures. For example, in Nairobi, in every sub-county, there is what we call alcoholic drink controls committees, which are supposed to receive application of bars. That committee is composed of even the OSPD, the DC, of course, and the county government, and other civilian. So these are the committees which are supposed to go and do due diligence on the applicants and ensure that they're not within the residential area, they're not within the schools, and all that.
But we see people going about their business with total disregard of the law, which is laid out.
So what you're doing is that, and the new government is talking about cooperation between the national government and the county government. There should be no rivalry. And so we are saying we will work with the Nairobi county government so that we can agree, let us revive these committees so that once the current licenses expires, then before they are given other licenses, then they have to go through these committees. There must be a lot of due diligence. Going to check, is it within the residential area? Public participation. Have wananchi been complaining about this particular bar?
Yes.
Because currently, and the police enforce our laws. When police go and arrest DJs who are actually playing the loud music and take them to court, the court, then they produce a license. And then the court says that, why are you arresting them and all that?
Exactly.
There is also the question of NEMA. NEMA is the one which regulates noise. And the amount of noise and all that. So again, there is also the issue of people working in silos in terms of dealing with the issue of alcoholic drink, licensing and all that. But if we can work with as one government where there is a lot of consultation, then we are saying that we'll be able to save Nairobians all these noises, licensed bars in where they're supposed to be, and that kind of thing.
Okay, as we come to a close, so will there be a continuous crackdown?
Yes, we'll continue cracking down on these bars like we have always done.
Yes.
We will be working with the new governor and all that, where we'll be seeking the cooperation of the governor so that we can be able to deal with this and save Nairobians, because residential areas are meant for that.
Exactly.
For wananchi to live and peacefully. But there's now habit of very loud music, people playing discos, and you have all the information.
Exactly.
Yes, thank you.
But Arsi, I'm told that you have an engagement, but within 10 seconds, what should we expect tomorrow? Quick recap.
So we expect wananchi to a big day, full of a lot of celebration. We want to invite you to come and be part of that celebration. It's historic because this is a day that we acquired, we fought very well for our independence. And also it's a celebration of everybody. You who was part of this part of the election, who have maintained peace and tranquility. So it's a day that we expect a lot of things.
Absolutely.
So we welcome everybody for this day.
Bonarsi, thank you so much for your time. We love to let you go. I know you have a busy schedule, but always thank you so much for coming over to KBC.
Always.
Karibu sana. That is William Kangethe Thuku, who is the Regional Commissioner, Nairobi Region. We are taking a quick break. We'll be right back with what to have on the local dailies as well as the Viewpoint. Stick around.
The world's biggest sporting event is here with us. The FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar. KBC Television will air live 28 selected matches, while radio will beam live all the 64 matches. We would like to bring to the attention of the public that KBC is the only station that has exclusive 2022 FIFA World Cup free-to-air FTA broadcast rights for both TV and radio in the Kenya territory, and no other media outlet. Therefore, catch all the FIFA World Cup action live and exclusive on KBC TV and radio. KBC is indeed your true sports partner.
Right now, quickly.
Pick up your phone, Biggie.
No one tells me what to do. Who's he? Hey!
Talking to your mother here is not the solution. So I know my time. 4 hours, Biggie. Thank you for the cup of tea,
Kuna shida. Why will he respond to your WhatsApp messages and not our calls? Who's this?
At KBC Channel 1, we put people at the heart of events with our captivating weekly news features. Every day, we are breaking new grounds with informative, entertaining, and inspiring human interest stories. On Mondays, 9 p.m., we have The Cabinets. Tuesday, 9 p.m., we get inside the barracks for military tales. We delve in the world of cinemas and theater each Wednesday night. For the young and industrious, make a date with us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Fridays are dedicated for my culture. On Saturdays, we go back in time for history in perspective. And on Sundays, we get to know the process of how things are done and made. KBC Channel 1 News features a whole lot of wonderful viewing experience.
All right, welcome back. Now let's take a look at what we have on our local dailies. On the front page of I have the Daily Nation, of the Standard, People Daily, and of course the Star newspaper. Let me take you through the front page of the Daily Nation. Battling ghosts from the past, that is also on the front page of the Daily Nation. Battling ghosts from the past. President William Ruto's cabinet secretary nominees yesterday came under fire over allegations of impropriety in the past, ranging from questionable payments, murder charges, misappropriation of public funds, irregular procurement, and undue pecuniary benefits, and put up spirited defenses against the claims, even as MPs scrutinize their eligibility to serve in the highest level of public office. Will their past misdeeds catch up with them? That is also on the front page of the Daily Nation. And of course, we had Aisha Juma, Professor Junguna Ndungu, Davis Chirchir, Kithure Kindike, and finally Moses Kuria, who faced the panel. CBC reforms. Kenyans have 30 days to give their views. Team set up to review new curriculum. Very quickly, it says that from the terms of reference gazetted by the president, much focus will be on basic education, where the implementation of the competency-based curriculum, that is the CBC, has drawn mixed reactions since it was rolled out in 2019. So according to the Insider, the Kenya Kwanza government seeks to blend the 844 system of education that is being phased out with contemporary competency and value-based education, which are the core of CBC. So that is part of the core mandate and how it's going to blend between the CBC and the 844. For rogue DCI unit officers, the murder, the hunter is now the hunted. Remember, the president disbanded the SSU, that's a special service unit under the DCI. And now the hunter becomes the hunted. Very quickly, search for the missing Indians and driver as officers probed. Officers suspended soon after their unit was disbanded on president's orders. It says that on Sunday, Acting Inspector General of Police Noor Gabo disbanded the SSU in a move that was later confirmed by President Ruto, who accused the unit of engaging in extrajudicial killings. So it happens that detectives spent better part of yesterday morning questioning their colleagues who served in the disbanded special service unit that was formed in 2019 by then Directorate of Criminal Investigations boss George Kinoti. Waiter fired for being drunk gets reprieve in illegal tussle with hotel. It's an interesting read here. You can take a look at that story on page 3. Moving on very quickly. Ghosts of the past come back to haunt Ruto's cabinet nominees during vetting. The 5 nominees appeared before the vetting panel yesterday, and nominees now face questions ranging from corruption scandals to murder charges in their quest for top jobs. And finally, experts Europe plotting to sneak fossil fuels to the COP27 agenda. Activists claim that plan is a new push to scale up fossil fuels and expand into Africa's least explored frontiers. How is that going to be in COP27 is going to be an issue of interest because it's going to happen in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt this year. Ruto sends Komes named for approval. The new commander of the National Police Service College, Japheth Koome, is now set to be the new Inspector General of Police, replacing Hilary Mutyambai. That is on the front page of the Daily Nation. Quickly on the Standard, Gachagua making of a dead case. The Deputy President is a hair's breadth away from the freedom as the lead investigator drops a bombshell. He was pressured by his boss to hastily craft a case against the politician. And as DPP Haji prepares to withdraw the case, had questions on the state of the criminal justice system under the reign of once acclaimed dynamic duo began to emerge. And of course, the story continues there. More revelations as CS nominees face tough tests. Kenya's first-born marrow transplant. There is a very interesting read there. That is the Matters Health. And of course, Benzema and Alexia win the Best Football Star Awards. That is on the front page quickly of the Standard. And on the People Daily, Baptism of fire for CS hopefuls in the hot seat. President Ruto's nominees for cabinet face difficult questions touching on their integrity on second day of vetting. Of course, there's nothing new here, which is basically covered on the front page of the Standard and the Daily Nation. There, they faced the panels. Seniors in disbanded police squad grilled over abduction. Again, a story which is covered on the Daily Nation. Very quickly, Mashujaa Day preparations on course, says Kibisho. We've just handled that here with the regional boss, that is Kangede, who says that preparations for these Mashujaa Day celebrations to be held at the Uhuru Gardens on course, and that is on the People Daily. And finally, on the Star, what do we have? My plan to turn around Kenya's ailing economy. That is Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, who says that he will go for low interest loans to buy off domestic debt. That is on the front page of the Star. There you have it. My plan to turn around Kenya's economy. He says that the plan to turn around Kenya's economy is key to his manifesto. Of course, we have got the names there. D- not the end of life. Juma tells vetting panel. We have got Aisha Juma there, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Davis Chirchir, and Moses Kuria facing the panel. Very quickly, on to the second page. Men and women to facilitate growth, well-being of Kenyans. The cabinet nominees will be key in making economic turnaround possible. Who do we have today? One, we have got Zakaria Njeru, Soipan Tuya, Kipchumba Murkomen, Penina Malonza, and finally Susan Wafula, who are facing the panel today, starting 9 a.m., running late into the evening. City hospital reforms, Kenya's first bone marrow transplant. Of course, that's a story also covered on the Standard. An interesting bit there. If you can take a look at what we have, the cartoon, there's an interesting cartoon there on the Star. We have... that is the speaker, if you can look at that cartoon very well, all right? The speaker there holding a lady who seemingly to be Alice Wahome, all right? And the speaker saying, order, order from above, all right? There you go. The nominee there with a candy, that must be a lollipop. And the cabinet, I don't know what's down there. That must be some wounds of notes, and the speaker having a thumbs up and holding Alice Wahome, trying to have some lullaby. That's an interesting cartoon there. I don't know how you're going to interpret that, but hey, cartoons have a deep message. Okay. So let's talk about what Njuguna Ndung'u said. Njuguna Ndung'u's my plan to heal Kenya's terrifying economy. Ndung'u, who is a step away from joining President William Ruto's 22-member cabinet, described the economic situation as appalling. He made the declarations during his vetting by the National Assembly's Committee on Appointments, chaired by Speaker Moses Wetangula. Now, he disclosed that his personal worth as 950 million shillings. And of course, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u's turnaround plan includes that of borrow low-interest loans to eliminate domestic debt. Second one is to reprofile existing debts to retire expensive ones. Tighten monetary policy for more dollar flows. And next one is optimize tax charges to rev up compliance. Again, is to have care to tax booming sectors without distorting a market, and put up in place food security, petroleum and forex buffers. And he also said that he is planning to protect private investments. Last but not least, develop, regulate and protect markets in Kenya. And finally, according to Professor Ndung'u, champion digital revolution. That is according to his plan on what he's going to do to turn around the Kenya's economy. That is what we had on the front page of our local dailies, or the People Daily, the Standard, Daily Nation, and finally, the Star newspaper. All right. So right about now, we are about to head to join Hamisi Boga, who is now joining us via Zoom to talk to us. There you have him. Hamisi, good morning, if you can hear me. Hamisi, good morning and good to see you.
Good morning and thank you again. I'm also happy to see you.
All right.
After a long time.
Very well. How is Mombasa? Let's start with that. How is Mombasa?
The weather is very nice for tourists. It's not that hot and it's not that cold, so you can always come in.
Are you trying to make us? Are you trying to make us jealous? Are you trying to make us jealous, Hamisi? Now that we are in Nairobi.
I deal with facts. Look at the booking. Bookings are 65-70% hotels.
Yes. And that, of course, is a good move for the economy.
When you come, if you don't have places in hotel, you can stay. You can stay with us.
I know where to find you. No problem. I know where to find you. Okay, Hamisi, let's go straight into this. We have vetting happening, and this being the third day, we've had so many. So far, 10. Today we are having the next batch of 5. I don't know what is your take on the ongoing at the county hall here in Nairobi.
Victor, I'm happy that the vetting is going on. I'm happy that at least there's an exposure of the people who are going to take offices, so that we have an idea of who they are, what they stand for,
yes,
what are they worth about, and this is a good positive.
All right. Let me see.
Positive thing. What is me is because I was vetting the other time. Does it? Yes.
All right. It seems that we are losing Hamisi there. Coming to us live from Mombasa, and of course, let me just take you through a rundown on who are the names that we should expect today at the vetting panel. Starting 9 a.m. Of course, today being the 19th day of October. Wednesday, we have got Honorable Onesimus Kipchumba Murkomen, who is poised to be the Roads, Transport and Public Works CS. We have got Honorable Rosalinda Soipan Tuya for Environment and Forestry. Next one is Honorable Penina Malonza, poised to be that for Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage. We have got Mr. Zekaria Mwangi Njeru for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, and finally Miss Susan Nakumisha Wafula for the Health Docket. So those are the 5 who are set to be at the County Hall today to face the panelists ahead of their grilling. Yesterday we had several candidates. We had Kithure Kindiki, Professor Njuguna Ndungu, Honorable Aisha Jumwa Karisa Katana. We had Davis Chirchir Kimutai, and of course finally Honorable Moses Kuria in that order. Of course, these they have got 28 days to do this before they hand over their names to the president for official appointment and subsequent swearing in to start their service to the nation in the new dispensation. All right. Do we have Hamisi now? All right. So, Hamisi, you are saying, what is your take on the ongoings at the county hall?
Victor was saying that this is good because at least we'll have an idea of the 22 people who are going to have these big jobs and who are going to deal with services that the Kenyans want.
Right.
It's nice to know their background, to know their strength, their capacities and capabilities. This is good because at least when they come to talk to us, we know they have millions in their pockets. But what does it matter? Have we ever seen somebody after saying I have so much convicted because of having more money. I think it's nice to know, but does it affect their position when they become ministers or they become CSs in the next 5 years? So the exposure is good because we have an idea who Aisha Jumwa is, we have an idea who Professor Ndungu is. This is good. And it's a mixture. I'm happy because there's a mixture of skills, mixture of ages. So I think this is good for a start. But what is the purpose of vetting? It's a big question which I think people can start discussing. The value of this vetting, if anything. So let's go there. We are having our ministers, and we know exactly who they are.
So what is the importance of vetting? Now that you've asked that question, let me throw it back to you. What is the importance? Because it's a practice that we borrowed from the West.
When you go to vetting, the importance of vetting, if I would be able to champion, is to know whether they have a bad background which will affect their services when they are in place, and if so, what happens? Do you discard them? Do you tell them to go and reevaluate themselves? But anyway, this is good for us to be able to know who is coming to sit on our ministerial positions. But the aspect of how much are you worth, does it affect your performance? These are some of the political and also intellectual questions that we have. There are people who may come without financial worthiness, but they can perform. So we must emphasize on performance, on the skills that are required for that particular job. When you go for a particular job, there are specific skills that you require. Do they have them? If they have them, give them the job. If they make a mistake, take them to court.
All right. And of course, the issue of inquiring one's financial strength and background, I believe this is something that is left for other bodies like the EACC, the DCI to handle. Is it in the place of Parliament? And even if Parliament, inquires about one's financial muscle and background, how important is it to the common mwananchi?
It's important because Parliament is representing the Kenyans. If there's something that can affect Kenyans, the parliamentarians are the ones who can say, watch out. Or if there's a big issue, then Parliament can sometimes it sits like make a decision or can recommend a decision that this one must be cleared by DCI, must be cleared before we really consider. So they have an important role of checking up exactly who we are and what we can do, but also they are our eyes, the oversight for services that will be produced by people who will be employed by this government. So they have a big role, but when does it end, their role? Immediately after vetting? Do they follow up these ministers, what they do, these CSs, and what they do in their operation? Because we have had CSs, we have had issues, and Parliament has not come up to be able to reprimand them.
Amisi, one thing which is quite trivial here is some of the candidates and the nominees have criminal backgrounds, cases still pending in court. What do you think that the message is being sent out there to the Wanjiku, the Hamisi of this world, and anybody else?
My take, Victor, is that I think the court is letting us down. If you look at some of the cases, if you look some of the issues have been mentioned for years, how long does it take to be able to prosecute and whether they are guilty or not guilty? Some of the cases are dragging, and this is a worrying situation. That is one side. The other side is I think we should let the people who are in charge of checking of the law finish their job before we get somebody into a position. So there are two ways of looking at it. One, why are the cases taking too long? If somebody made a mistake last year or a few months ago, fine. But somebody made a mistake 10 years ago, how long does it take to prosecute a case like that has been there for 10 years? So we blame the court also. And they should tell us why they are not finishing the cases that they have in their hands. So we have both plus and minuses. And this is interesting because if all those 22, if half of them have cases, do we stop or do we ask the president to nominate other people so that we can? It will take long before you have a full cabinet which is clean like a white cloth. Why don't we start from where they are and then move them and let the court do its job? Halfway, if the court says they're guilty, you can always have somebody else take their place.
All right. A very quick one. And when you look at their backgrounds, of course, you've said that it's now the disappointment from the courts of justice because some of the cases are still dragging. But Hamisi, if you look at, back in the days, we had some powerful ministers way back in the Kibaki's government. Some of them were not allowed to serve in the cabinet once someone was mentioned in a scandal or just, an allegation was leveled against a candidate. But here we are, some of the candidates have got questionable and active cases in court. Do you really think that this statement of step aside should come back?
It's good to implement that one, but also look at the human rights aspect. You are telling me to step back, but I'm not guilty, and this is an opportunity that I've been given. So we have to, again, this is a double sword. One, we should not be able to have somebody who has a case that has not been completed, and therefore the stepping aside is a good option. But also we should not punish and penalize somebody who is guilty or who is not guilty until proven guilty. The leaders are using this, I'm not guilty until proven guilty. If you are guilty, you are guilty, whether you are proved or you are not proved. But anyway, for the purpose of human rights aspect and consideration of individuals' character, let's prove them guilty or let's prove them not guilty. But the stepping aside, I would recommend, because at least somebody is given an opportunity to go and clear their names, their cases, and then they can always come back. The president can always, if they like you, if the president of Kenya likes Hamisi and is cleared in all cases, he can still appoint him in that position or any other position that of leadership.
All right.
That's my take, Victor.
Absolutely. Today we have got several names, and of course 5 today. Yesterday we had Aisha Jumwa, Kithure Kindiki, Davis Chirchir, Moses Kure, and of course Njuguna Ndung'u. Let's just get back to where it all started. How important is this vetting? Because it's a borrowed practice from the West to us here in Kenya.
Sometimes when you borrow, especially in a technical, professional, and academic method, you don't take the whole thing. You adopt, you adapt, and you adopt. You look at the aspects that are good for us and are workable, and then you use them. But when you adopt everything, let's wait the way we've been doing it in our kind of environment, longer for us to be able to realize. And some people can use it to punish you.
Yeah.
This one, we hear that he ate this, what do we call it? Bursary fund, he ate something, and you don't have the proof. So yes, when we borrow, but let's adapt. Let's modify it so that it suits our current environment. Otherwise, somebody was saying, tell me who has not eaten in Kenya. And it will be very difficult to have somebody who has not eaten anything that belongs to somebody else. So are we going to shuck everybody else? Victor, we must have eaten something, even if it is small. So why don't we do like the religious books say? I'm saved now. From now, I'm not going to drink. From now, I'm not going to steal. From now, and then we see how the skills that they have can help us develop this country.
Okay, so let me ask you, what do you make of the framing of the questions at the vetting process?
something was worrying me yesterday. If you hear the people from Azimio side, they're kind of really they want to know the issue, or they want to assure that the people who have been nominated have some cases. If you hear the people from the other side, they're kind of protecting them. So even the vetting group, I'm worried about it. They should change. When they sit there as a vetting panel, let them not align themselves or their mind in terms of where they come from. They are members of parliament. They were elected. Let them do the job that parliament does. But yesterday there were some areas where we could see somebody is trying to protect so-and-so, and somebody is also trying to attack. That aspect, I think that the team must improve this today and maybe later.
All right. Okay, Amisi, I'm quite interested in understanding some of these positions. And of course, this is a question that I've been asking my guests here in studio. What do you make? We have got people who have got technocratic background and politicians. Should we go for such, or just a blend, or pure politicians in the cabinet?
We should have a blend. Should have blended cabinet so that you benefit from experiential. You may be good at mathematics, but you may be very bad at decision making. So let's blend our cabinet in such a way that it has both the technocrats, but also the leadership. Especially, I'm taking leadership at a broad level in terms of political environment and social environment. So let's blend, but while we blend, let's get the best of the blended. But to have all technocrats. One time, I think in Kenya, we were told we were going to have all technocrats. They didn't survive 2 years.
Yeah.
You need a mixture, because this is a political government, this is a political system. You need also people who can punch some politics into some areas.
Yeah.
And more so, their job is service provision. And starting from there, then let's focus, can they provide the services that have been identified in those ministries? And if they do, how do we know that they are performing? Have we done assessment? Have we done appraisal? Have we done an evaluation? Have we moved to some people because they're not performing? So those are some of the aspects that after appointment, then strategies must be put in place to ensure that the performance is graded, is respected, the performance is evaluated, and who cannot do, please let them go home. We have over 40 million people who can do the job.
Okay, so in every transition, now we are in this phase right now, from the last dispensation of the governance, and now we enter a new one. Certain aspects and principles of you phase out whatever happened in the last regime into a new one, undo to do kind of principle. Do you think that is what should be happening here at this particular regime?
My political interest, my political and professional interest in this is to look at who was there before and who is there now. If majority of the people who are in this government were in the other government, then it's a continuation. But if majority of the people who are in this government are new, then it's kind of evaluation of the performance of the people. If I close my eyes, majority of these people we are now interviewing were in the last government a few months ago. So is it continuation? Is it changing? And sometimes I get interested when somebody say that government and somebody was there. Let's be honest. Let's improve, because performance is improvement, leadership is improvement, but not say everything that happened was bad or everything that will happen is good. Show it so that people can take credit. Suppose there is a big function, a big project that was initiated before and it is now complete. Is it bad, or do we complete it and appreciate it? It is a good function. It is a good project for the country. So this is where the honesty and integrity comes in, and also appreciate even the small thing that was done before, so that we appreciate what you will be doing in the next 5 years.
All right. Hamisi, just hold on there. I'll come back to you shortly. That is Hamisi Mbonge. We're just talking matters governance and trying to make sense on the interviews and the vetting that is taking place at the county hall here in Nairobi. And of course, the next one is going to be starting in the next 20-something minutes or thereabout. All right, the live feed you're seeing there coming to you from I hope the DCI headquarters, right? All right, at the Supreme Court, and we'll be having the swearing in of the DCI, new DCI boss. That is happening at the Supreme Court precinct. The new DCI boss is set to be sworn in. Remember, he's taking over from George Kinoti, who served in the last regime. And anytime from now, that oath will be administered. That is the Supreme Court. All right. So that is there. And the next one is live feed from the county hall, the ground zero where everything will be happening again today for the vetting of the CES nominees. And of course, we should be expecting a batch of 5 people again today to take that hot seat. As Ala said, we have got Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen, Honorable Rosalinda Soipan Tuya, Honorable Penina Malonza. We have Mr. Zekaria Mwangi Njeru, and finally Miss Susan Nakumincha Wafula for Health. That is what's happening. And of course, we'll be giving you that live feed as and when they begin. That panel chaired by Moses Wetangula, who is now the current Speaker of the National Assembly. All right. Hamisi, back to you. The question that I'm still interested in asking you, the issue of undo to do kind of principle in the transition of governance. We've even seen this happening even in America, where from Barack Obama's regime to Donald Trump's regime, they tend to undo certain things in that government to suit their agenda and manifesto. Do you think that should be happening here in the country now that we have got the Big Four agenda and the SDGs ahead of us?
In terms of development and of our country, you just don't undo, because if you undo, the other person will come undo. Let's evaluate what has happened, which is good, which can continue, and let it be done that way. Because if we undo everything that was happening, then you're stopping. A lot of resources were used, both skills and money. And then when you undo, it means you are stopping that one, and it was already spent, and you won't see the value of it. But let's undo those things that we feel would affect the system of service provision, and let's do those that will assist a quick provision of services. Somebody has mentioned about, in fact, look at education, look at anything. If you look at health, let's evaluate which aspects can we do. A few years ago, or call it many years ago, before 844, we had the other system. They said this other system is not working, and those who are saying the one before 844 was not working are the professionals that pass through it, and they're the ones making a recommendation. It's interesting. Now, if you say 844 is totally useless and therefore we go to full CBC, that's my take. It's like overturning this. If you look at CBC, it's all about the same thing, education of our people. Yeah. So let's see, what else can we do? More practicals? Is it more examination? Because one of the things that have affected this country, having been a teacher for over 20 years, was emphasis on examination. You can say that if you give some people who are not good at maths, but they're very good in art, they perform. So why don't we look at that aspect? What do we promote skills? Do we promote examination in terms of figures and numbers?
Okay.
So what I'm saying, let's choose the ones that improve, let's keep them. Let's see those that are dragging us down, let's reshape them. In fact, the only thing is to reform, reshape, reevaluate, and continue, because education is continuous.
Yeah.
Just as an example.
Okay. Hamisi,
so don't disband.
All right. Hamisi, let's take a break. And when we come back, I still want us to talk about more issues to with Chapter 6 because it's on trial. The new dispensation under 2010 Constitution, Chapter 6 is perhaps our yardstick in terms of appointments and public office appointments. Let's take a look. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more after this.
Afande, umejiuliza mbona si ufanya zile vitu tunafanya?
Ni nini mbaya? Hakuna kitu mbaya sana. Leave me alone. That's the order.
Jibril and Mohammed. Their leader is still unknown.
I'm here to negotiate on behalf of the government. What name can I use?
Call me a legion.
In this world, there are three kinds of people. The sheep, the sheepdogs, and the wolves. We are the sheepdogs. It's our job to protect the sheep from the wolves.
Our mission is to rescue the hostages. These are our targets.
Wamefika. Wako halkan.
The legends and familiar chants will grace KBC once again. Don't miss the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022, where 28 exclusive matches will air on KBC Channel 1 and 64 matches will be live on KBC radio stations. Join and engage with us on our social media handles. #World Cup Eco KBC. Don't miss the moment you've been waiting for. KBC, your true sports partner.
To the Constitution and the President of Kenya during my service in the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, without fear or affection, malice or ill will, that I will at all times do my utmost to preserve the peace and to prevent offences against the peace, that while I shall continue to hold the said office to the best of my skill and knowledge, discharge all the duties thereof faithfully according to the law, and will subject myself to the Constitution, all acts, orders, and regulations now or in future in service relating to my service in the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, and that I will discharge all the duties according to law without fear, favor, affection, or ill will. So help me God. I, Amin Mohammed Ibrahim, do swear by the Almighty God that I will not, without due authority, disclose or make known to any person any information acquired by me by reason of the duties performed by me on behalf or under the direction of the National Police Service, or by reason of any office or employment held by me pursuant to the National Police Service Act. So help me God.
Thank you very much. Mr. Amin, you may have your seat, and I wish to congratulate you on taking your oath of office. That brings us to the end of the oathing ceremony. At this juncture, I would like to request Mr. Amin Mohammed to make a few remarks. Most welcome.
The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable Justice Martha Koome, the Registrar of the Supreme Court, Honorable Anna Madi, the Chairman, National Police Service Commission, Mr. Eliud Kinuthia, the National Police Service Commissioners present, the Acting IG, Mr. Nur Gabo, the DIG KPS, Mr. Edward Mbugua, members of the Fourth Estate, all protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen. I want to take this opportunity to foremost thank the Almighty God for this very, very special day and giving me the opportunity to be appointed as the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. You may wish to note, ladies and gentlemen, that until my last appointment at the Directorate of Internal Affairs Unit of the National Police Service, I've spent most of the years in the Directorate, that is the DCI, and I'm glad to say that I'm now back home. Similarly, I want to thank His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, for this appointment and the trust he has bestowed upon me to lead the Directorate. This is a new chapter for the DCI, and I want to promise the President and the people of Kenya that we shall not let you down. I want to thank you, Honorable Chief Justice, for presiding over this important ceremony, which now allows me to assume my office and work for our people and our country. I'm ready for the task and ready to lead the DCI to deal with the challenges of our time. My gratitude also goes to the National Police Service Commission, led by the Chairman, for the open and transparent manner in which our interviews were conducted for the position of the DCI. Indeed, it was competitive, and I would like to congratulate my worthy colleagues who also attended the interview, and together I want to extend and embrace so that we work together jointly as one unit. On the same note, I would like to thank my family, friends and colleagues of goodwill who stood by me, encouraged me during the selection process. Indeed, their prayers have been answered, and I really appreciate their moral support. Honorable Chief Justice and fellow Kenyans, I want to state from the outset that I will endeavor to lead the DCI in the most professional manner and adhere to the supreme law of the land, the Constitution of Kenya. We shall also endeavor to respect human rights while being firm and fair as we stick to the mandate given to the Directorate. I want to urge all Kenyans and foreigners living within our borders to obey the Kenyan laws, and we shall not have any reason whatsoever to come for you. We shall try as much as possible to work together in harmony in the spirit of collaboration with other security agencies such as the EAC, KPS, APS, the NIS, and other actors of the criminal justice system, including the ODPP, the judiciary, and the correctional services, amongst others, for purposes of serving the people of Kenya expeditiously and without any prejudice. We shall tackle the contemporary challenges that we face as a country that include terrorism, narcotics, human trafficking, cybercrime, corruption, and money laundering to the extent that our mandate allows. Honorable Chief Justice, I look forward for more interaction as we serve the people of this great Republic of Kenya. That is my short speech, and the silent point is I promise the Kenyan people that as the DCI, I'm going to discharge my duties and responsibilities professionally, with utmost integrity and with utmost respect. As a service, we shall make sure that we adhere to our constitutional standards and fundamental freedoms. We shall ensure and endeavor to make sure that Kenya will be a safe and a secure country for all the people that live therein. We shall conduct our investigations professionally, expeditiously, and see to it that we bring our members of the public on board and see how we can bridge the gap and inspire confidence in the office of the DCI and my officers. With those few remarks, thank you very much. I promise Kenyans that we shall deliver on the mandate bestowed on me by His Excellency the President. I will always be available, and for purposes of records, I would like to declare Honorable CJ my number, which is 0722-415-419, so that any member of the public, any other person who feels like reaching out to me can easily reach out to me. I will work hand in hand with all our strategic partners to ensure that we deliver on the mandate of the Directorate. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim, for those remarks. At this juncture, I must welcome the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mr. Gabo, to make his brief remarks.
The Honorable Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable Martha Koome, the Chairman of the National Police Service Commission, and the commissioners who are present today, senior officers, good morning. Honorable Chief Justice, on behalf of the National Police Service, we thank the judiciary under your leadership for steering the criminal justice system in order that we work as a team. The Honorable Chief Justice, the National Police Service, under the leadership of the Inspector General, will ensure that Kenyans are peaceful, our economy grows, and today, since the President has appointed Amin, who will be the DCI, I want to inform the public that there is a new sheriff in town, and their cases will be heard without any prejudice, and Kenyans will see the fruits of the new transformation within the National Police Service. And Amin is coming with 33 years of experience, and I want to assure that he will be part of a team of investigators who will make a difference. Thank you, the Chief Justice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gabo. I now wish to welcome the chairperson of the National Police Service, Mr. Kinuthia, to also make his brief remarks.
Honorable Chief Justice, IG Acting Nurugabo, DIG KPS, Mashujaa, Amin, the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, my colleague commissioners, media, good morning everyone. Today, Honorable Chief Justice, is a great day for us, and we want to really thank you because this brings to the climax of a long process of searching for a new director in the Directorate of Criminal Investigation. When we began this process, we placed it before God as commissioners, that God may lead us to a person who will serve Kenyans and citizens of this country with dedication. And true to our prayer, we landed into the right person, and I really want to thank His Excellency, the President, for appointing Mr. Amin Mohamed for this very onerous task before him. Secondly, from what we can see from the media, from out there, the job before Amin is very clearly cut. As a commission, we will stand strongly within our mandate. As the employer, Mr. Amin, we want to assure you, leave your welfare to us. Deal with the job before you. Take care of the Kenyans. Take care of the work before you. The commission will take care of you and your officers, so don't bother about that. We also have a duty to exercise disciplinary control within the service. And I know as you settle down in that office, there will be a lot of sweeping, a lot of cleanup to be done. We arrived at you on a very strong strength of investigation. We ask you now to move straight and swing your arms, your experience into the job. All the issues that are pointing, the allegation that are pointing finger inward or outward, deal with them. And should there be any matter found for any of the police officer after your thorough investigation requiring the action of the employer, we shall do it in accordance to our oath of office without fear, favor, or ill will. And therefore, mine is to really promise you that the commissioners seated behind you will give you total and maximum support to perform your duty. For the Inspector General, we have faith in you. We know there are things that require your direction as the officer in command. Please let us all support Amin to do his job, and it will be well. And I want to assure Kenyans, we have now the right person on the job. Regain your confidence in our police service. We have competent people. They will serve you the way you deserve to be served. With those few remarks, Honorable Chief Justice, today, on behalf of National Police Service Commission, is to say that we are very, very delighted for the great support you've given to us, for the great support you've given to police officers, and the teamwork that we have enjoyed to work together with judicially. We take this really with a lot of appreciation and promise to continue supporting you in also your work. With these remarks, I'm very happy to see ODPP is here. Our Deputy ODPP, Madam Dorcas, we really welcome you into this function and really appreciate or our invited guests. Thank you very much. Asante.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kinuthia. It's now my humble duty to welcome the Honorable the Chief Justice to make her remarks on this occasion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ndemo, our Deputy Chief Registrar. Allow me to recognize all of you in a very, very special way and to welcome you to the judiciary. We are gratified to see the warmth with which you have received our new Director Criminal Investigations. Usually these swearing-in ceremonies are very small ceremonies with just the person being sworn, maybe being escorted by the wife or child, and one person, but I see the police service is a warm, warm service where you like to escort one another. Thank you very much. Had we known there was going to be a big turnout like this, we would have gone to the Milimani Ceremonial Hall, where we could have accommodated everybody very comfortably. So our apologies for this state of affairs. Now we have known the police service is a warm, warm place. The Director of Criminal Investigations, the Acting Inspector General, the Chairperson of the National Police Service, with your commissioners. Allow me also to recognize my friend and sister, Senior Counsel Dr. Soduo, representing the ODPP, and to recognize all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I take this opportunity also to congratulate most warmly the Director of Criminal Investigations, Mr. Amin Mohamed Ibrahim, on your appointment and on your swearing in this morning. I have no doubt in my mind that you will execute your constitutional mandate with effectiveness and it will bear positive impact, given that you are a distinguished professional with invaluable experience counting to 33 years. Your office is a core part of the National Council on the Administration of Justice, where we pull together in the criminal justice system, given our focus to ensure that justice is served for all. I have confidence that you will perform your duties in accordance with the law and fairness, as the Constitution that is our true north venerates the cardinal value and the principle of justice. One of the mandates of DCI is to maintain law and order. We in the criminal justice system rely on the investigations that are carried out. And without investigations, we will never succeed. I have no doubt that in the performance of your duties, you will continuously observe the rule of law and you function within that remit of the law. Also, the oath of office which you have taken today should guide you in your day-to-day work. According to that oath, you must never depart from the law. And that is what will give Kenyans confidence that whatever they face, they will come before an impartial investigator who will follow the law and indeed serve this country and give confidence to the people who come before you. In addition, the oath equally requires you to serve this country to the best of your abilities and bearing in mind the enormous responsibility that is placed before you. I welcome you most warmly to the NCAJ, where you will be a key partner, and I wish you all the best in your work, in the delivery of your mandate. When I was requested to perform this function, I looked at my calendar. As you know, we are interviewing judges every day at the Judicial Service Commission, and I wondered what I could do, because we must allow you to go and perform your functions. I imagine your interest is just overflowing, and we apologize for bringing this function very early in the morning so that we could swear you, release you to go and do your work, and we can also go and continue with our interviews at the Judicial Service Commission. So we apologize for this short ceremony and also the state of our small space that we have here. We will shape up one of these days. So all the best. God bless you. May He continue to shine His light upon you. May He continue to guide you. We will continue to pray for you and to encourage you. And we have taken your number. We will be in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Chief Justice, for your remarks.
All right. That is the swearing-in ceremony of the new DCI boss, the Director of Directorate of Criminal Investigations, Amin Mohammed Ibrahim, taking over from George Kinoti. He was actually the director at the Internal Affairs Unit at the Vigilance House, and of course we've also seen a speech there, a brief speech from Nur Gabo, who is acting IG Inspector General, and of course the chairman of the National Police Service Commission, Eliud Kinuthia, and finally Chief Justice Martha Koome. That was a swearing-in ceremony of Amin Mohammed Ibrahim at the Supreme Court of Kenya, presided over by the Chief Justice Martha Koome. Just to remind you that not long from now, we'll be heading to County Hall, where the vetting ceremony will be taking place for the third day, going through Saturday. And of course, we expect 5 names to appear before the committee today. All right, let's come back to Hamisi here in studio. Hamisi joining me via Zoom all the way from Mombasa. Hamisi, we've just witnessed what's happening at the Supreme Court. Probably just let me get your voice on that. What do you think?
Victor, that is very good, because we don't want an office to stay without an official representative, so that the work continues. It's a very big office, important office. Therefore, it's nice that he should start his work this afternoon, not even tomorrow, so that we can be able to dispense with justice.
And of course, his swearing in coming just days after President raised a red alarm over the extrajudicial killings from the disbanded SSU. What do you really think, and perhaps let me just get your point, what do you think he should do to change the tainted name of the DCI?
If anything, because we have had a lot of cases about police shooting, police, hijacking, he should quickly find out and give us an example of 1 or 2 people who have been doing that, and also we see they are taken to court, and that will give an example for those who are believed to be doing that, and those who have done that in the force, they should also be told to go home, because actually the image is not excellent as we stand today. If you hear people don't report things to police, because you may report to police, you get fired, and also the people whom you have reported are safe. So people have that fear of reporting any bad thing, because they can be able to be affected themselves. So to clean that image, to change that image, we, in a matter of a month, we can see a good example if he's serious about his job.
And of course, the president is also quite stand on the police operations in the country? Remember, during the campaign period, he said that the chiefs or the so-called administrative wing of government should be let to do their job, not the political aspect. But then now, just to get your point on this again, we have the new DCI boss. Perhaps, I know it's too early to compare, but how would you rate Kinoti's performance during his reign?
Kinoti, to some of us, was doing a good job, but if this new person can do a better job, that's better. But then we were worried about his doing a good job, but his people were kind of doing bad things. So I think there were both good things and bad things in the force during Kinoti's time, and this can be corrected so that we can see the difference. And you don't need a month to show the difference. Like you must, if there's a system of checking the take them to court so that they can present their cases, if any. And then where are these people who got lost? Those people who disappeared? Who made them disappear? And these cases are as long as 2010, 2013. There are people who have disappeared and we don't know the trace of it. There are people who have died and we don't know until just do one case so that people say, oh yeah, it can be done. It was done 5 years, somebody died, but we know the culprits are XYZ. I think that should be the motto.
All right. Abisi, imagine you are given 5 minutes with the new DCI boss. What would you advise him to do as he takes reign of office?
Change the whole system, change position. Sometimes when you are in a new office, just shake it up. We call it shake it up. Look at the skills, look at those who have been doing something, move them up a bit. You'll get some information and you can be able to operate. If you leave the system the way it is, sometimes we have a culture. In public service, we have a culture. This is the way we do it. This has been done for many years. So if you're a new broom, please come and sweep by changing a few things, and then you can discover the public will tell you. The public have a lot of information, and now that he has given his telephone communication, you can really get to him so that he knows exactly what the public think about the police and those special groups like DCI, SSI. He should do something about it.
Absolutely. All right. Amisi, just to end on that, let's come back to the issue of vetting that is about to begin in a few minutes from now. I believe in the next 5 or 10 minutes to speak. Today we have Honorable Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen, who is poised to take that position of roads, transport and public works. We have Honorable Rosalinda Soipantuya for environment and forestry. We have Honorable Penina Malonza, who is a former, so to speak, deputy governor for lands, for tourism and wildlife, I beg your pardon, and heritage. We have got Mr. Zachariah Mwangi Njeru, lands, housing and urban development, and finally Ms. Susan Nakumincha Wafula for health. What's your take on this list, Amisi, for the nominees who are set to have their seat today?
Just checking their background, I think they are all capable Kenyans. For example, Murkomen is a long-standing lawyer and a person who has really done some work on leadership and governance. So he has an idea exactly. I think he was part of the task force for devolved government, which created the legislation that is guiding the county governments. So that insight and also his experience in parliament, his experience in leadership in parliament, I think he's a good candidate for that. And also the rest of the team, they're not bad. We need to be able to by this afternoon to know their background. Especially, I'm interested in their integrity issues. I'm interested in the skills. If you take somebody to lands, what skills? Land ministry is another big mystery, and if you ask me, lands, health, education. Those big ministries, you need very strong people in terms of managing them, because they are touching on almost everybody and in this Kenyan Republic. So they are very important, and therefore the people who are nominated to those offices must have those required skills. Lands is also another issue. Another issue is public relations, because you are touching the Kenyans. People have been asking for land for years. People are asking for titles. Titles in the ministry take a long time to reach the citizens. So these are some of the issues that the new people moving into these ministries must handle. So Brother Murkomen has a job to do, and he needs to be able to calm down. Let him open his telephone line so that we tell him what is on the ground here, and so that he can have a basis, apart from what the reports he gets from the officers. Let him get the reports from the public, so that his decisions are informed, and therefore they are focused on helping the Kenyan people. So we are looking forward for their insights.
Okay, I mean, see, when you look at the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, the president has a plan. So generally, what do you think that these nominees, if appointed and finally they get that green light from Parliament and approved by Parliament and finally appointed by the president, what do you think they should do to marry or merge the policy and action plan to actualize the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza?
One of the things that you do as a minister or as a person, an official in a ministry, is to cascade the plan, national plan, into your department or to your ministry. So they should look at that plan. What does it say? For example, I'll go back to lands. What does that plan say about land? And now formulate your strategies. The strategies are not in the plan from national government. The strategies are yours at the Department of Lands. What strategies would you put in place to be able to address those plans? And then who do you need to be able to address those plans? So that is really management now at the ministerial level. For all these, I think the process is the same. Get the national plan, get your strategies, and get the people who can be able to implement that strategies. Look at the resources, both technical and financial. Do you have them? And if you don't have them, where do you get them? So this is where the management starts. This is where the governance starts. Whom do you pull to make a big difference? That is where the key governance issues are applied at the ministerial level. You need more people than you see in the ministry. You need the national government. What part of the national government do you need? You need the court. Do you need parliament? Do you need all these things? So it's a big job, and somebody has to have a big strategy to be able to address that one. I hope these people can do it well.
All right. Abisi, before we take a break, we promised to talk about the issue of Chapter 6, one of our yardstick and our guiding principle in the Constitution. But as it is, some of the people have, questionable backgrounds. We discussed that. But nonetheless, chances are that almost all the names will have a nod and ultimately get appointed to serve in the cabinet. So the question is this just an exercise in futility?
Yes and no. I'm saying yes with a lot of restraint. Yes and no, because at least the public will know. If you look at the Constitution of Kenya 2010, it belongs to the citizens. And the citizens have donated the powers of this Constitution to people who will be able to implement. And the people who are, one set of people who will implement the Constitution are the ministers. So the public must keep watch. We have according to the Constitution, we have a role to recall. We have a power and role to recall. Power and role to question. Power and role to be able to say, I think this is not going right. So the citizen, and yesterday I was talking to some other people, this civic education and voter education has it really sunk into everybody, or we still have a long way to go? So I think that citizens now, given the information that we'll get from this panel, should now formulate areas, information. If you have something about the ministers that are not doing, please let's have a system that will be able to highlight it, not punishing, but also highlighting that this is not right. So I think the public has a big role to do here. The president has already done it, nomination, and the other people are checking the possibility, the integrity, and the Kenyan citizens have a role. We have forgotten our role. Majority of the times, we are letting only a few people do it. This is now the time.
All right. Abisi, as we come to a close, allow me to ask you to have your final remarks.
One or two things that I wanted to say as my final remarks. We are happy that the election was done. We are happy that the results were given the way they were given. And we are happy that the government is now being formulated. What we're looking forward to is the implementation of the services. But more so, I'm really interested in the promises that the president gave to Kenyans. You know, in Mombasa, he really made us laugh. To give him time now. Mr. President, we want those things you said you'll bring. We want to operate nicely. So as a parting shot, through the president, those ministers that will be given this job, let them implement the promises of the government as said. Otherwise, wananchi, they are just wondering, is it true? If we wait for how long? Therefore, there's a lot of anticipation on the ground here about the promises that the new dispensation said they will do. So we are looking forward to it positively, but also critically. Can they be able to do everything? The question is, how much can they be able to do in what time? So we are looking forward for these kind of things, and I'm happy to be part of this session. The discussion must go on. We must speak positively, but we must highlight anything that we think will not be able to give the Kenyan service provision. I'm very happy to be part of this.
All right. Amisi, thank you so much for your time and, of course, for your valid insight as far as the show is concerned. That is Amisi Boga, who is a governance and policy expert, joining us via Zoom. We've talked about matters national concern and what you should be expecting throughout the day. All right, Amisi, thank you for that. All right, so just to wrap it up, we saw the swearing in of Amin Mohamed Ibrahim, who is now the new DCI boss, taking over from George Kinoti, and of course we also saw Nur Gabo, who is now the acting Inspector General of Police, Chairman National Police Service Commission, Eliud Kinuthia, and of course Chief Justice Martha Koome, and that activity, the swearing in ceremony, took place at the Supreme Court of Kenya. Now, not long from now, we will be heading to the County Hall, where the third day of the grilling, the vetting ceremony will be taking place today. Honesmus Kipchumba Murkomen will be taking that hot seat for the Roads, Transport and Public Works docket, followed by Honorable Rosabella Soipan Tuya for Environment and Forestry Cabinet slot. We have Honorable Penina Malonza for Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage, and the fourth one will be Mr. Zekaria Mwangi Njeru for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, and finally we'll have Miss Susan Nakumincha Wafula for the Health docket. That is going to be the order of the day, and of course that committee is headed by Speaker of the National Assembly, who is now Moses Wetangula, there at the County Hall. All right, it's a wrap from me for now. Thank you so much for your valid company from 6:30. It's almost now 9 a.m. and anytime from now we'll be crossing over to County Hall. But before then, let's take a look at this amazing feature about the military tales done by Nisi Imano. From me, my name is Victor Low. Have a good morning. Bye-bye.
Born in November of 1961 in Nairobi's Pumwani Maternity Hospital, Patrick Mwangi's dream was about joining the military.
I always wanted to be in the Air Force. In fact, there's somebody who wanted to take me to prisons, but I ran away.
After completing his O-levels, he enlisted with the Kenya Air Force.
That's where I was recruited. That was on 24th August 1981.
He was then posted to Moi Air Base at the Flying Training School as a technician,
where I started working with the training aircrafts, the Bulldogs.
But how did he become a commentator in the military?
When I was in primary school, I used to represent Kasarani, the entire division in a speech contest. Me and commentary started there.
In Moi Air Base, he used to be the athletics announcer and volunteered for events.
Because of that volunteering, in 2001, during the board meeting of the Air Force, the Air Force commander, the late Major General Mutai, thought that why can't we be doing our running commentary during the aircraft flyby like they do in Para. So since I was doing those kind of announcements in base, I was unanimously chosen to be the one. So 2001, 12th December, I came to Nyayo National Stadium to do the announcement. Warrant Officer 2, Patrick Mwangi. He thought is an easy thing. You just come because you are in uniform, you are in military uniform, unakuja tu na kutangaza. In fact, I went to the director himself that day. And he told me, Mwangi, I can see you are in uniform and I trust you. I trust KDF. But this is a live commentary.
All right. Back. Hatutatoka mpaka tumalize hii kitu. All right. So we are crossing over now to the county hall where the vetting is taking place. There you have it. That is Moses Masika Wetangula, who is the chair of that committee. He's not the speaker. He's now the chair of that vetting committee. That committee is now, it's comprised by leaders from both political parties, both from the minority and, of course, the majority. And he's just giving his housekeeping, of course, which is as per the standing orders of that vetting committee. And there